Hey y'all, welcome back to the KMS podcast, that is Killing Me Softly podcast with Cat Branch. How are you? I hope you are doing well. Y'all, January is trying to get up out of here. It's trying to get up out of here. And that's all I can say is But I am happy to be back this week. I'm happy to have the opportunity to spend this time with you and just share, right? Last week we kind of went off onto talking about my grandfather, which I had no expectation. I had no plans to talk about my grandfather. I just have said in this process of doing this podcast that I'm going to do it. I'm going to, when I need to, when he's called me to be more formal, I will be. And if not, I'm going to continue to allow him to do what he sees fit to do with the podcast, with what I share, and how I go through this process. Because what I realize about this more than anything is that this is a journey to a journey to always becoming the best reflection of Christ. So that's going to take time. That's going to be a one step at a time. That's a renewing of the mind daily in order to show up and be the best reflection, to be the reflection of Christ that I'm called to be. Am I going to be perfect? Absolutely not, but he is. So this week, since he took us on a little bit of a detour last week and me sharing about my grandfather and the precision at which he navigated life, even through ups and downs, even through I have a blueprint through the people that are around me and how I'm laughing again for you folks who cannot see on camera that my dog is moving around on the couch as she so often does. But anywho, I've seen how people in my life have navigated life's challenges, and I have a blueprint. I have a blueprint because of the relationships that are closest to me. And I've seen people grieve whatever it is that was happening in their life, and they grieved well. And when I say that they grieved well, it was because not that there was not pain, not that there was not probably at times depression, that they still persevered. And ultimately, God allows things to happen in our lives, and they're not for us. They're for us to grow through so that we can help someone else along the way. And so if that is what the purpose of this journey is for me, I am eternally grateful to him for that. But as I said, my grandfather went through many different challenges in life. He lost my grandmother my mom was 12 years old. I'm hitting my dog. I'm not hitting her. Y'all, slow your roll. But I'm patting her so that she will stop licking on this couch, because muffins, stop. This is real world, okay? This is what happens, because here's the thing. She wants to follow me foot to foot around this house. Foot to foot. So because of that, where I go, she goes. And she has this thing about licking. I'm sure if you have a dog, you probably have experienced this, but I don't know if y'all can hear this or not. I'm trying to make her stop. Mama, Muffin, stop. But anywho, sometimes she's licking her paws. Other times she licking the floor or the couch or whatever. But I digress. But my grandmother passed away when my mom was 12 years old. And as I sit here and I think about, even the strength of my mother, and her navigating that and going through life with the loss of her mother at a young age, I have been surrounded by people who have still moved forward in life and put one step in front of the other. They did the best they could with the information that they had at the time. And for that, I'm grateful. You never really realize, a lot of times we're looking for examples and we're looking for inspiration. And when it all comes down to it, we can see, and we have guides in our life that the Lord provides for us. And you never really look back. I never really in the moment look back to think that God has put people around me that gave me an example of what it was like to grieve well in life. And last year, as I was grieving the loss of my job and then being faced with a health challenge, I realized that because I never gave up, it's because it was in me. It was in me because of the people that he placed around me. My grandfather, my mother. We were really, it was just us, like the three amigos, growing up. And he allowed that for a reason. And so as I look back over last year and how I kept going, even when things were not going the way that I wanted them to go, I still persevered. I remember writing to the doctor, and I think I said it here already, and asking God to give me something specific from this healthcare provider. Something specific. I'm like, Lord, I need this, and I need this. And then being able to have a miracle of a provider that was exactly what I asked for on that ride over. He has provided. He has given provision, even in a layoff. And what is really significant about all of this is that my family and I relocated to Georgia in the summer of 2023. We made the decision in the spring, and we were closing on our house. I mean, literally, it was a 3-month process. And God showed up so much, even in that process. He showed up. And so when I think back to that time and how he stepped in and he provided for us in this transition, when we were going through it, it was like, oh, this is meant to be. We are supposed to be making this move. And then only to a year later, having what I felt like the rug being pulled up out of me, I questioned God. I was like, well, if this was right, Lord, why would you let us move here and these people, I done lost my job. Why would you let me move here, Lord? And now I got a health challenge. Because if I was in Florida, I could navigate this quicker because I'd be more comfortable with the providers there. I would have been, maybe I wouldn't have been laid off if I was actually in Florida. It's like, what if this? What if that? Maybe this, maybe that. And what I learned, how he answered me through that time when I was going through that, was that I wanted you here. I wanted you away from everything that you thought was safe. I wanted you away from what you believe to be your foundation. I wanted you isolated. I wanted you in a place where you could only come to me and seek me and say to me, Lord, I need help. Because like I told you before, my mother is a retired nurse. She knows a lot of people. She knows physicians, nurses, could tell me what facility to go to, what not to go to. She has nurse friends who could tell me what to do and what not to do and da-da-da-da. But that's not what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to come to him. He wanted me to lean and depend on him so that I could know that I was all that he needed. All that he needed. But had I ever taken the time to really recognize that? Would I have taken the time to recognize that if everything was okay? Because he's provided. He's always blessed. He's always there. But sometimes when there's a place he's trying to get you to go, he has to let it feel like the floor has dropped from below you and like you're falling, so that he could catch you. Will you allow him to catch you? I know that right now could be a season where you feel all alone, where you feel like whatever it is you're going through, you're doing it by yourself, and that you have no help. But what I'm here to tell you is, no matter what the situation is that you're going through, I can quite imagine that the phone call that I got on those days between March 20th, the two phone calls that I got between March 28th and March 29th of 2024, if I could bottle up that emotion, that we all have had it. And we've probably had it multiple times throughout our lives. Sometimes it goes away, and other times it might be a season that you just have to walk through. And I'm in my season, but I'm in my season in peace. Number one, because I have my mind and I have my health. And even if some of us are in seasons where our health is a challenge for us, God is able. There's one thing for my health that I've struggled with probably since I was 38 years old, and that's heart palpitations. I have had heart palpitations since I was 38 years old. Initially, we thought that it was induced by medicine. I have terrible sinuses, right? And so because of that, I would take Sudafed, like the best medicine to get rid of your girl's headaches, sinus headaches, would be Sudafed in the green box. I think it was Sudafed with Tylenol, right? And I remember taking it, and my husband and I'll never forget, the first time I had a heart palpitation, I was in the car with my husband and my heart started beating super fast. to the point where I was like, oh Lord, I must be having a heart attack, right? And it's very scary. It is very scary. And that was the first time when I was 38 years old. I still to this day suffer with those heart palpitations. I have been on a heart monitor 2-3 times. They've always tried to catch it. They believe that it's something called SVT, but it has not been diagnosed. But every now and then, I don't take any medications anymore that has that decongestant in it, because I know that can bring it on. But I also know that what also can bring it on is moving too fast, not breathing, being anxious. So where I believe something initially started through a medicine that I was taking, now it also is linked to anxiety, not being present. For a long time in my life, I was holding my breath and not breathing deeply, rushing through life, moving through experiences fast, trying to get something over and done with, be it work, time with God, getting my son out the door in the morning, trying to get to work on time, exercise, walking too fast, running too fast, doing this, doing that, trying to do too many things at one time. And I've brought that on myself. And in return, at times, oftentimes, I would have these heart palpitations. And honey, during the pandemic, well, all the stuff that was going on during the pandemic, let me tell you something. They were insane, the amount that I would have. I have gotten up. I've gone to the emergency room because of palpitations. My heart rate would be well over 200. Could they catch anything on the monitor? No, looks like everything's okay. It'll come, my heart rate will come down. No, we don't see anything. And so even in that health challenge, even though I still experience it here and there, I am more mindful of myself and how I'm walking through life, and allowing myself to be present all the time by focusing, not rushing, taking my time. Because what am I rushing for? Breathing and breathing deeply. Like literally, your girl has to practice that. I have to practice breathing deeply, inhaling, not holding my breath. Sometimes I realized that I was even bearing down because, like, holding my breath because I was scared of what was next. I was scared of what was next. That's not a good way to be. It wasn't a good way for me to live. And so now that I recognize that, I daily have to make the effort to focus and to breathe deeply while washing dishes, while loading the dishwasher, while cooking my son breakfast, while walking outside on the treadmill, playing with my dog. Whatever it is that I'm doing, breathing deeply and feeling. Because what I know for sure is everything is going to come. Happy, sad, up, down, in between, no between. It's all gonna come. But you can't prepare yourself for it. But you know, you can prepare yourself for it. You know how you prepare yourself for it? What do I always say? You lean and depend totally on the Master, Jesus Christ. That's what he came. That's what he came for. That's what he came for, to save us. So now I'm moving differently because I have to. I don't have any other choice but to move differently. I can't work myself up about what's next. When is it gonna come? When is the next job gonna come? When I am living in his presence, I'm living to what he has for me. And in this season, that requires me to be still and to pray and to seek him every day. One of the things that I really focused on, and I can't recall if I shared it here or not in one of the prior episodes, is that when I was laid off, my behavior change specialist, Tia, she was starting a 75 hard challenge. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. I just felt like, it's meant for me to do that. Especially now, I'm not going to be preoccupied with, anything else, but obviously trying to, find employment. But what happened when I committed to that 75 hard challenge is that at the time I didn't know it, but I realized that I needed to make me my project. I needed to be my project. I needed to be what I was focused on and checking in on and updating during that daytime when I would have been navigating someone else's agenda and trying to fulfill responsibilities and obligations to my employer. Now I have to spend that time responding to what God has called me to do and responding and moving. I take a class every year. It's called Plan and Pray. And it's with Suwan. Her Instagram handle is Provoke, Incite, Inspire. I think that's what it is, Provoke, Insight. If it's not Provoke, Insight, Inspire, it's Provoke, Inspire, Insight. But I think it's the first one. And I take a Plan and Pray. This past year is the 5th year that I participated in that. And one of the things that she always asks us in our prayer lab is, what are you graced to do in this season? And what I know I'm graced to do in this season is to lean and depend on God, is to spend the time with him, to talk to him, to figure out where he would have me to go and just spend time, just sit, not asking, not trying to do, but just sit and allow him to speak to me. Because so many times I've been I'm going to do this. Oh, this. When now I'm just having to be still. Does that mean that I'm being irresponsible and not, seeking employment? No, absolutely not. But like I said last week, I know that every rejection that I get leads me closer to what is next. It leads me closer to what is next because I continue to persist and I continue to lean and depend on him. And I do that healthily. I do that in a healthy manner every day by spending time with him. I've always had this repetition about my day, but that repetition is so much sweeter this time around because I realized that the point of it all is something greater than me. It's something greater than my inconvenience. It's something greater than me wanting things to go my way. It's something greater. He's greater. I love coming on here talking to y'all. I love coming on here to be able to share and hope that you get something out of this that brings you closer to wanting to know more about God. Not about me. Not about the way that I do things or the way that I think you should do things, but about the way that he needs to move. You need to allow him and give him the space to do what he does in your life, so that not only that he can get the glory, because he's going to get the glory, so that other people can know him. I am not perfect. I don't have it all together. Frankly, sometimes I think I'm crazy. But that's all. That's all to keep me humble, to keep me relying on my Heavenly Father. It really is. That's all it is. And as I come on here and share and realize that it's not about perfection. It's about the precision to which you move. And me being precise, I can only be precise if I allow him to lead. I can only be precise if I would allow him to lead. So I think that's it for today. I think that's it for today. But again, I hope y'all take care. I hope that, as always, you get something out of this. I get something out of it just because I'm operating outside of my comfort. I'm operating within him, not within myself, but within him, because I would want to do this differently. And I'm leading. I'm following as he leads in this process. So that's it for now, y'all. Your girl is about to be 49 in a couple of weeks. Yes, 49. Let me look at the calendar. I believe, let's see. I'm bothering you, mama? Y'all, Muffin's over here breathing hard again. She over here breathing hard again. Yes. I will be 49 in less than a week and a half. To God be the glory. I'm excited about it. And I always tease with my best friend every now and then when we get excited about something or whatever. We be like, girl, the old folks used to say, I think I'm gonna run on and see what the end gonna be. That's a little churchy for y'all. But yeah, so thank y'all again for listening. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And more than anything, know that God loves you. He really, really does. He really, really does. And so thank you for your time. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate it. And I hope that something that I said brings you closer to Christ. Take care. Bye. Talk to you next week.